Retro Racing Reports from Ascot Park, Saturday, June 2nd, 1984. It's Antique Race Car Night, where the WRA, or the Western Racing Association, led by Walt James, brought out a whole bunch of cars for display. That was a great night. We have some pictures of those, along with a quick little story on each one of them that showed up through the back gate. Speaking of the back gate, there were 39 cars that rolled in on this warm June night, purse of $9,800, and the attendance on the event at Ascot, 6,176. Hey, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That'll really help me out. There's a couple of really neat things going on in this program. One of them, and we'll start off with this, is this 6-shot flip sequence. The shots were taken by Marv Keller. Mind you, this is the pre-digital age when this happened. In 1984, this was the week before. Dwayne Feduska. The famous rollover time here. Number 82, Dwayne Feduska, took a flyer. And we have 6 shots from it. Again, from Marv Keller. The caption reads, Feduska's fantastic flip. Dwayne Feduska, number 82 out of Cerritos, hooked his sprinter going into turn 1 and started a series of flips that sent him over the crash wall and catapulted him over the catch fence. If he hadn't hooked his front wheel in the safety cables, he would have cleared the wall and landed outside in the parking lot. Feduska climbed out of the car and walked away, but it took crews about an hour to get the car untangled. And it's a wonderful 6-shot series of photos there by our old friend Marv Keller. Wow, really dramatic. And that's part of the allure of sprint cars. Here's footnotes by Ben Foote. WRA alumni dedicate the 1984 night to Aggie. The old sights and sounds of Legion Ascot, Gilmore Stadium, Carroll Speedway, and Gardena Stadium permeate the atmosphere here tonight as the pre-1950s Western Racing Association dedicates the 9th annual Antique Race Car Night to the late JC Agajanian. Walt James, president of WRA Alumni Group, and also a former California Racing Association president, for 2 decades, has invited 40 of the restored old cars to parade around at intermission of the modern Craco CRA Championship Series sprint car races. And we're looking for the best turnout we've ever had because most of the old-timers remember Aggie so well, James asserted. He held every office in the WRA at one time or another and was really the man who made us a viable organization. Since he has had many memorials in May, this is a dedication rather than a memorial event. James himself, who belongs to a big racing family, drives the Mel Layton Special, made famous by former Indy 500 star Jack McGrath in the late 1940s, and it's a 4-port Riley. Joe Gemza wheels a 1926 Frontenac that was driven by Francis Quinn in 1930. George Schilberg represents the Miller Offie, with which Rex Mays took the American Automobile Association title in 1937, among others. Won quite a few with that. Average age of the cars will be 40 years, James added. Average age of the driver will be 62. Ironically, 2 of those long associated with the WRA group are too busy with the present to be tinkering with the restored machines. Alex Morales, who is 76, is celebrating a 4th-place finish in the last Indianapolis 500 with Al Holbert at the wheel, and he returns to put the 1984 version of the famed Tamale Wagon back in the Craco CRA victory circle with Bob East out of Lawndale. Bruce Brahmy of Gardena, who first competed with the WRA in 1941, is now looking for his 101st CRA triumph after the big win by Dean Thompson of Carson in the 40-lap Sunday version of the Salute to Indy last week. The 66-year-old Brahmy had 7 of his chassis at Ascot last weekend, of a total of 10 registered with CRA. Bubby Jones of Anaheim took the other half of last week's salute to Indy in Saturday's 50-lapper, but Thompson's second place and 93rd and 94th career fast times gave him the top Cosworth CRA point money. Well, that's it for the footnotes from Ben Foote. As mentioned, we had 39 cars through the back gate. We have a load of pictures here from the WRA cars. Main event winner on our night was Bubby Jones. There was no time on the event, as we had a yellow flag along the way. For our WRA cars, they had a nice spread in the center of the program, and it showed 12 of the cars. Of course, it was a preview, and not all of the 12 cars showed up, so we scanned the ones that are marked as appeared, and these are the captions that go with them. Aggies first. Cal Nide was JC Agajanian's first driver in sprint cars. Nide won the first ever midget race to be held in Sacramento's Hughes Stadium in 1933. He's shown here driving number 46 at the 1982 Old Timers Night. Lionhead, one of the few 3-spring cars still in competition. The number 5 still competes in Western Racing Association meets. The Lionhead originally raced in the 30s and 40s. Owner Paul Grosso will drive it tonight in the exhibition run. Here we have some cars lining up, getting ready. Car owners get to the track early to line up their cars for public viewing. The restored racers get a final polish job just before the shutterbug hits the infield for the annual show. Bullet Joe Garson, 2-time AAA Pacific Coast champion in the midget division, was at the 1982 Antique Night. Garson drove one of Phil Larson's scaled-down Curtis Offies. Larson built 10 replicas of the Roadster that revolutionized Indy. Bullet Joe took his final checkered this past year. Gentleman Johnny Parsons clamps his teeth down on a handkerchief as he demonstrates the old way of keeping dirt out of his mouth before full coverage helmets. The 1950 Indianapolis winner is driving Don Kishel's Offie at Ascot's Antique Night. Another champion, the famous Miller Special, was driven to 3 West Coast WRA championships by Bud Rose. The driver bought the car and is keeping it in tip-top shape. Rose doubled for Clark Gable as the driver in a 1950 movie, To Please a Lady. Let's talk antiques. The WOR Special dates back to 1932. It was a 4-cylinder Model B block built for racing by Krager. Spotless. Old-timers always gather around the old Garnet Miller. It's owned by Bruce Johnson of Burbank. Old number 12 was the champion of AAA in 1934. AAA sanctioned many races before the founding of USAC. Had a big motor. A 270 cubic inch engine was the biggest built by Offenhauser, although some mechanics managed to bore them even larger. The car was driven in the 1940s by Cecil Burnaugh of Burbank, currently owned by Marshall Baldwin. So that's it for the WRA cars. We had a nice Feduska flip by Marv Keller, and Bubby Jones won the main event. It's quite a night at Ascot Park. And we'll wrap it up with a nice shot on the inside back cover that shows Bruce Brahmy's first race car and the 1984 model, which features Dean Thompson at the wheel. Be sure to subscribe and like, and put your comments down below.